Whatever happens, inflation, a pandemic, whatever happens, through no fault of theirs, people that are laid off or out of work, they still need to put a roof over their head and feed their families, pay the rent, go to the pharmacy.
That was Representative Larson asking to save Social Security as he has a plan. Take a look at the Social Security 2100 Act. This is what Representative Larson wants, which most importantly increases benefits 2% across the board for all Social Security beneficiaries. It also goes as high as 5% for other Social Security beneficiaries, and it changes the COLA adjustment, which would give it an even higher percentage per year for all Social Security recipients. Now, there's 12 essential benefits that are enhanced and increased under Larson's plan. Why hasn't there been a vote yet? Also, why hasn't there been a vote for Bernie Sanders' plan to increase Social Security benefits by $2,400 for all Social Security beneficiaries? Why hasn't there been a vote yet? Well, looks like Social Security is going through a lot of changes now, as a new bill has just been introduced to keep Social Security offices open. This bill is called the Keeping Our Field Offices Open Act. This is trying to prevent Social Security offices from closing. If you haven't heard about what's going on there, I'm going to give you the latest. I'll also let you I'll play that full video clip of Representative Larson talking about the need to enhance Social Security, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the content, if you appreciate the Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. So, when it comes to Social Security, there are two people that come to mind when it comes to enhancing and increasing benefits. First, we have Bernie Sanders with his $2,400 more per year or $200 more per month plan. Then there's also Representative Larson, which has increases and expands 12 essential benefits. Now, I have gone over this in the past, but just to recap, increases benefits by 2% across the board, increases the COLA, changes it from the CPI-W to the CPI-E, which will be a higher COLA compared to a measly 2.5%. It would be higher every year moving forward, not just for 1 year. Also increases benefits to lower income seniors. So many things. Increases by an additional 5%. But why hasn't there been a vote? As I mentioned earlier, why can't they just have a simple vote to see who is for this plan, who is against this plan? Well, I think once they have a vote, they'll see that a lot of representatives are not for increasing Social Security, both Democrats and Republicans. But if they have a vote, this could be that their political career is in jeopardy. So I think we need to put more pressure to have a change for Social Security, as Representative Larson keeps talking about. Now we're going to go over this bill. Representative Sorensen discusses the bill that could keep Social Security offices open, as there are many that are bound to close, with phone wait times getting higher, offices closing. It leaves people on Social Security wondering what they can do when there is a problem. Well, I'm going to get into this bill in a moment, but first let's listen to Representative Larson.
Congressman, last year you showed me some cards you give out to every member of Congress in the House and in the Senate, Republicans and Democrats alike. I think you showed me House Speaker Mike Johnson's card last year. And on the card, it says how many of their constituents in their district rely on Social Security. Do you still do that? And when you're giving them to Republicans now, I mean, what are they saying? What are those conversations like?
They're very appreciative of the card, and I think many of them are astounded. But when I go to the floor, every time I go to the floor to talk on what's called a 5-minute, I also, who is ever in the chair speaking, and it's always a Republican because they control the House, I recite for them exactly what's in their district and how many people. And on average, Brittany, it's about 145,000 people per congressional district on average. And also about 200 million that comes into that district monthly. I also remind them that this is why this is such a valuable program, and especially in this inflationary time, and with this vast disparity gap between the have and the have-nots, that a plan that provides citizens with a monthly income needs to be there, and we need to know that they're receiving this amount of money and what it would mean if they don't get it. It is, after all, as I like to remind our Republican colleagues, the safety net for capitalism and entrepreneurialism. The genius of Roosevelt was knowing that in a system like that, which we love and respect and admire because we want people to take risks. We want people to be creative. We want people to be inventive. But if for some reason, whatever, climate change, whatever happens, inflation, a pandemic, whatever happens, through no fault of theirs, people that are laid off or out of work, they still need to put a roof over their head and feed their families, pay the rent, go to the pharmacy. And as we said earlier, for 40% of that 70 million, the only benefit they have is Social Security. And so that's why it's so important. And who speaks for them if not their elected representatives? Elon Musk doesn't speak for them. He and Donald Trump don't lose a moment of sleep worrying about putting a roof over their heads, putting the meal on the table, or caring for those people. They're billionaires. God bless them. They're successful. God bless them. But our mission under the Constitution is we, the people. And it's the people that were sent to Washington to represent and protect. And the brilliance of Roosevelt in our system is that we know that Social Security works. It's the most popular insurance program in the nation, the number one anti-poverty program for the elderly, and the number one anti-poverty program for children.
You mentioned earlier some comments that Elon Musk made recently on Social Security. He made them during an interview with Larry Kudlow on Fox Business. I want to read some other comments he made in that interview. He said entitlement spending is the big one to eliminate. As we know, entitlements include Social Security. They include Medicare and Medicaid. And he said the government spends anywhere from $500 to $700 billion on them. President Trump himself, Republicans themselves, all said that they're not going to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They're not touching that. Instead, they're going to look for the waste, the fraud, the abuse in there. But realistically, is there $500 to $700 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse in Social Security?
Well, this is such a conundrum, and I'm glad you asked the question because it's confounding. Number one, as you point out, if you look at the federal budget and you were to take three specific areas, those being national defense, those being Medicare and Medicaid, and Social Security, that's over 70% of the federal budget in three programs. So Musk has said, he's not wrong about saying, where is the money being spent with regard to the federal budget? Yes, indeed, it's defense, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Now, how much has he been asked or directed to find by President Trump? $2 trillion, I believe, right? Now, is it coincidental that what was the tax cut of 2017? The Trump legacy. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that was $2 trillion. Oh, yeah. And by the way, of those three major programs that we just named, does any one of them have a trust fund? Yes. Social Security. Oh, and by the way, how much money do you think is in the Social Security Trust Fund that has been put there by American citizens? $2.7 trillion. So when Musk says he's going after the money and he's following the money, believe him. It's an old adage in politics, in government. If you want to find out what's going on, follow the money. And that's what the American people need to be tuned into, and why he's out, as he said clearly, time and time again, to privatize it. And in the same token, as you point out, Republicans have said, no, President Trump has said time and again, we're not going to touch Social Security. And yet, the same weekend that Elon Musk called it a Ponzi scheme, he called it a scam. And he's given him a free hand. And they say, oh, yes, but he's only going after the fraud, abuse, and waste. Well, I said, well, if that's the case, why isn't he coming before our committee? Because we'll surely roll up our sleeves and help them find that. Because nobody wants to see fraud, abuse, and waste in the military, in Medicare, or Medicaid, Social Security, or any governmental program. So you talk about a Ponzi scheme. That's the real Ponzi scheme, is that they're saying they're going to be, oh no, we're not touching Social Security. We're not going after Medicare or Medicaid. But in the same breath, they're saying, but we're going to follow the money and we're going to look there. And this is where we're going to come up with the $2 trillion the president has asked them to. They have got to be held accountable to the American people, to the United States Congress, and to the media. And it's going to be individuals. And frankly, they've got the power. They control the Senate, the House, and the presidency. They can block us. We will continue to use every single legislative tool in our box, including resolutions of inquiry, to demand that they come before us. But so should every citizen in this country. People ask what they can do. Demand that he come before Congress under oath and tell the American people where he's going to find that $2 trillion.
What are your thoughts on what Larson had to say? Now, his messages lately, as I try to play almost every one of his video clips, is about increasing Social Security, but also bashing Musk and DOGE. Where do you stand on DOGE, Musk, and their plans for Social Security? Are you for it, against it? I know things are constantly changing day to day, but has your thoughts and support changed, not changed? Let me know your thoughts on that. All right, let's get into this. New bill to keep Social Security offices open. So there was a closure of an office, and actually multiple offices, and according to DOGE Savings Dashboard, the annual lease for this one location, Rockford, is $36,000. DOGE says by closing the building, the government would save $61,000. So one person is saying that closing the facility would impact seniors, people with disabilities, and working families, saying closing Social Security offices is not just a budget decision. This isn't about finding government efficiency. This is a betrayal of American people. It's turning our back on our senior citizens, on people with disabilities. So I'm really curious, you personally, have you visited a Social Security office recently? Or, if you haven't gotten in touch with the phone, are you physically going to the office? I'm really curious if people are actually going to these offices, if they should remain open, if they should be closed. Let me know your thoughts, your experiences with Social Security, or if you know anyone else who's gone to these offices. So basically, this bill was introduced March 11th and is called Keeping Our Field Offices Open Again, which would prevent the closure of Social Security field and hearing offices. The act would impose a moratorium on Social Security field and hearing office closures until January 21st, 2029. So this would keep the offices open. But I'm curious if these offices are being used. I don't know. I'm not on Social Security. My family that is on Social Security, they don't go to the offices. They use the phone service. So I'm really curious what your thoughts are on that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I am both Simon's my six. We will play. And guys, if you want to be fashionable, be fashionable. Do whatever you want to do now, yes, or never. Because that if you do it now, you'll do it, and you have the experience about it. So that's all I want to tell for you today. Bye. Bye.
There are 5 changes to Social Security in 2025 that you need to know about. With so many different things going on with Social Security, especially as of recent, it's important you know these changes and how your Social Security is affected. So click this video right over here and I'll give you all the details on that. And I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.